G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. My husband made me believe that soulmates aren't real. I'm using a different account so that my husband doesn't know. Before meeting my current husband, I was married to my ex-husband, Dave. Dave and I met when we were 5 years old. He moved into our neighborhood when he was 5. He was this cute boy next door. We became inseparable. Even our parents joked that when we would be adults, we would be married. Ever since I knew the concept of marriage, I was determined that I would marry Dave. We were like soulmates. We had the same interests, the same hobbies, similar thoughts. He was my first everything. My first kiss, my first boyfriend, the guy I lost my virginity to. Among our friends, we were the perfect couple. After graduating high school, we immediately got married. I got into a good school, but I decided to study with Dave. We got married right after we finished high school. Our parents helped us find an apartment closer to our school. We worked hard. We would often talk about having kids. On our 6th anniversary, we decided that we would try for a baby next year. I still remember the day when we were teenagers and cuddling. We already decided what our babies' names would be. During our 7th year of marriage, my mum got sick, so I had to stay with her for a while. I was planning to do something special for our 7th year anniversary, so I left early to surprise him. I went to my bedroom, and there I saw my husband screwing another girl in our marital bed. I can never get that image out of my head. My husband saw me, and his face turned pale. I don't know what happened, but I threw up right on the spot. My husband was giving me the usual, "It's not what it looks like. I'm sorry. It was a mistake." I locked myself in the bathroom. I somehow mustered my strength and called my friend to pick me up and just didn't listen to Dave. When my friend arrived, she charged at Dave. She grabbed some of my things and we left. I was in a catatonic state at that point. Eventually, my parents knew. They supported me on whatever decision I would make. Dave's parents, however, wanted us to be together. There was a huge fight, but eventually we settled for divorce. My whole fairy tale fantasy just shattered. I was spiraling into depression. My parents booked me therapy. For 2 years, I was like a living corpse. After that, my friend pushed me to go out on a date. I did, but no one even came close to Dave. I was searching for Dave in every guy, but they all failed to live up to the expectation. That is when I met my now husband, Jay. Jay was the opposite of Dave. Dave was funny. He would be the life of the party. I remember one time he made me laugh so hard, I fell from my chair. But Jay was not funny like Dave. He would use humor only as clapbacks and if he wants to insult someone. He was also very stoic and closed off. Pretty boring for my taste. On our first date, I asked him some questions like, "What's your favorite movie?" He told me he doesn't watch movies. He likes reading. He didn't even ask me one thing, except for my educational background. He talked mostly about my field of work, but he was not interested in me. We ate dinner in silence. I was 100% sure that he would not call me back, but 2 days later he did. He asked me out on a second date, and I was skeptical of whether or not I should go, but my friend insisted. I gave it another try. Second date went slightly better than the first. He talked a bit more, asked a few questions, and we were just taking it slow. He was opening up until the 6th date when he finally hooked up. TMI, it was amazing. I am someone who has a snack after having sex. I was craving for some, so I asked him if I could grab something from his pantry. Even a bread and cheese sandwich would do. He told me to stay there, and he went out. I was kinda confused, and he came back after 20 minutes with takeout food. It was something I really liked, orange chicken. I asked how he knew, and he told me, "You told me on our previous date." I melted right there. Dave and I have been together for most of my life, but he never made the effort of going out to get me something. That's when I knew, even if he was not my soulmate, I was madly in love with him. We dated for 3 years and got married. I came to know about Jay's family too. His mom and dad were drug addicts who died of overdose. He was homeless for a while, but he worked his way up. Throughout our marriage, I was very, very happy. He was different from Dave because whenever he would see me doing chores, he would ask, "Need help?" He helped me through my trauma from Dave by arranging a therapist that specializes in infidelity. He may not be a person of words, but his actions tell me he loves me. When I was pregnant with our daughter, I would wake him up in the middle of the night to either get me food or rub my feet, and he would say, "Yes, ma'am," and get to work. I love him. Even after 15 years of marriage, my love has not stopped. He is still a stoic man that I fell in love with. After meeting him, I stopped believing in the concept of a soulmate. He was not mine, but we somehow made it work. I love you, Jay. Thanks for being there in my life. And anyone who was wondering what happened to Dave, he's getting his third divorce. His mum blames me for his downfall, but she refuses to see that her son cheated on his every marriage. In the comments, quote, "His mum blames me for his downfall." Because it can't be the fault of her effing child being an immoral, faulty human being, could it? I'm poly. I have different attitudes to sex around a relationship, but promises are promises regardless. Commitment is commitment no matter what flavor, and Dave is clearly emotionally incomplete. I never believed in soulmates from childhood, but you know when it works, when it's right. You just had to have a trial marriage to refine your definition. Who knows? Maybe Jay is your soulmate. He seems to be more ideally suited to you from the beginning than Dave ever was. After reading this, all I can say is F Dave, metaphorically, and F Jay, literally, in several positions. Then you have a nice dessert. I'm glad to hear that you were happy. I hope you, Jay, and your kid, or kids, have many, many more happy years ahead of you. It sounds to me that you were, for a lack of a better word, lucky that you walked in on Dave cheating. It was most probably not his first time. Jay sounds amazing. I wish you both many more years of happiness. And now, on to the update. I said I love you to my husband after 5 years. So my husband and I have been together for 18 years and married for 15. My husband is not the type who always shows his feelings. He's very stoic, smiles on very few occasions, and maintains a routine. Some even say that he's a robot, but I don't think so. I am someone who is very outgoing and completely the opposite of him. Before I was married to him, I was married to someone else who cheated on me. I used to say I love you a lot in my first marriage, but after my divorce I had some sort of aversion to those words. Over the last 18 years, we have said I love you only 5 times. The first time was when we were dating, second was on our wedding day, third and fourth were when our daughter and son was born, and fifth was 5 years ago on Christmas when we were really tipsy because of the drinks. I wrote a post about how I met him and how we got together, but it made me realize that we haven't said I love you to each other in a long time. But it didn't bother me. Even if he never said it, he always shows that he loves me in his actions. He does chores for me, he would always give me a foot massage, make me my favorite dish, even kiss me out of the blue. I do not have any complaints. He is the best husband anyone could ever ask for, but this was something that has been in the back of my mind for a while. We cuddle, we hang out, we make love, but still no I love yous. I would love to hear it and say it more often, but somehow it just makes me nervous. I decided to buckle up and just say it. It's just 3 words. So yesterday, when he was reading a book on the couch, I stood in front of him and said, I love you. He looked at me and was confused. I repeated it, and for the first time, I could see him get flustered. He told me, okay. I was a little disappointed by his response. I thought he just didn't love me anymore. Later that night, when I was lying down, he came to our bedroom and told me that he is sorry for his response, that it just caught him off guard. He told me that he loves me a lot, and not even a day goes by he doesn't feel lucky to have me in his life. I was tearing up. That was better than my confession. I asked him, then, why don't we say that more often? He told me he doesn't say it because throughout his entire life, no one has said it to him except for me. His parents were drug addicts who couldn't care less for him. He had to start working since 14. He grew up in hardships, so saying I love yous are weird for him. But also, he feels like we didn't have to tell each other when we express it with our actions way more. I told him I want to say it more now and want him to say it back if that's okay with him. I saw him smile for a while. He said it's fine as long as I want it. I don't think we need to say it when we know we love each other a lot. We will probably stop saying it after a few days and go back to our mundane events. In the comments, it's not what it looks like. You literally have your dick in someone else as we speak. In the marital bed, no less. Surely etiquette says you should at least get a hotel room. Or cheapskates all around. But yeah, at the least find a quiet parking lot and a back seat of your car. I never understood why they say that. Like, okay then, what is it? 'Cause you literally can't be doing anything else than what it looks like. Did you fall? While you just both happen to be naked? Come on now. I started saying love you to my dad on the phone a few years ago. He's not a demonstrative person, we're not a huggy family, and Dad was in his late 80s, so I didn't know how he'd react, but I kept on saying it, and in the beginning he was clearly startled. But now he'll say it to me first sometimes. Dad's gonna be 90 this year. It's never too late, and he really likes hearing it, even if he was confused at first. I told my dad I loved him almost every day of my life until he died. I would kill to tell him one more time. Our next post is titled, I cheated on my girlfriend of 2 years with an escort, and the only thing that saved me was a trip to Panera Bread afterwards. I'll never ever do it again. So, my girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years now. I really love her, but I've had a sex addiction side to me that's taken over my life. I guess I don't really love her if I'm cheating on her, right? Well, after months of research, I wanted to meet this escort who I've been seeing online in ads. So I tell my girlfriend goodnight and instead Uber to the hotel where she's staying at. She was beautiful, but the whole time I was imagining my girlfriend. It wasn't the best experience. After we finished, I left, contemplating telling her, but didn't. So after I left, I Ubered to Panera Bread to get something to eat. My girlfriend knows I like going out to restaurants by myself. I actually prefer eating alone as I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I finish and Uber home. 2 days later, she hits me with the, "So did you go anywhere of note 2 days ago?" I said no. She then pulls up Uber receipts from my email showing I Ubered to a hotel. I logged into my email on her computer a couple months back. I was shocked. I was caught. I felt ashamed and I was shook. I didn't know what to do, so I did the worst thing possible. I lied. I said Uber took me to the wrong location, since I'd only been there 20 minutes before Ubering to Panera. She found that plausible, I guess. I gaslit her by saying that she doesn't trust me, and that she doesn't love me, and that Ubering there was an honest mistake. She knows it wasn't an affair because she's been with me the entire month. It was just a quick 20-minute escort visit. She couldn't ever imagine me using a sex worker. So we argue, but ultimately we agree that I went to Panera Bread and came home. It's been 2 months since then. I got an STD test and it came back clean. I want to love my girlfriend the way she deserves, although I know deep down I don't deserve it. But again, who said this world is just and fair? We are both extremely happy and in love. I don't feel much regret anymore. I hope we live happily ever after. In the comments, your girlfriend is only happy, as you say, because she doesn't know how disgusting you are. You lied and gaslit her, and you're making light of it in the comments. Consider the pain she will feel when she finds out, and she will because you will become more sloppy and careless. Consider the irreparable damage you're inflicting on her self-esteem by lying and gaslighting her, and leave her alone. When they admitted to gaslighting and coming across as bragging about gaslighting, I thought I was going to be sick. This can F someone up so bad. I've been on that side of it. Honestly confused how they can say they love their girlfriend, but then also treat her like this. I'm sorry, but you are being a really crappy person. Not saying you are a crappy person, but you are being one. You admit you have a problem, but do nothing about it. Admit that you made a mistake and that your girlfriend deserves better, but admit you probably won't tell her and don't even regret it at this point. If you don't want to tell her, at least break up with her. And also, Have the day you deserve. A crap one. And now, onto the update. I am the girlfriend. I left him. I don't know what to do next. It wasn't Panera Bread, by the way. Where do I even begin? It's been a whirlwind of the last 6 hours for me. Thanks to Reddit for doing a thing. I was tipped off by a girlfriend who saw the thing come up on her recommended feed. I searched his phone and came across all kinds of messages with girls and escorts he didn't even bother deleting. Coming across these things in the boyfriend who I thought was the most sweet guy on the planet Earth felt like a gut punch. We were together for 4 years, actually. I can't believe he did this to me. He looked at me and tried gaslighting me again about how that was all a work of fiction and that none of it was true. It was just to provoke a reaction on Reddit. But after seeing the messages, I couldn't believe him anymore. I gathered some things, left our apartment, and am staying at my parents' right now. Lesson learned, y'all. Don't trust Texas boys. That's where I'm from. Besides that, I feel like I'm a candidate for Broken Heart of the Year because I've never felt so distraught and betrayed in my life. The pain I'm feeling can't even begin to be described by words. Maybe I'll feel more and explain later, but for now I'm just sticking to the grieving process. He was the love of my life. He even met my mum and dad and my 2 younger brothers. I thought I was going to be able to marry him and make him the happiest guy on planet Earth. But it turns out he had other plans. He ate a potbelly, not a Panera by the way. Weird way to try and disguise it. Thanks again, Reddit. You guys saved me. I'm grappling with what to do next. I don't know where to go in life without him. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.